Day 12 thoughts. Whatever you do not choose, whatever you don't do anything about, you choose. You choose by default. And so that brings me to my day 12. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for following me on this journey. It's been something. I can't believe I've been doing this for 12 days. As I'm doing these, I'm feeling more and more confident. And thank you so much for following along. And to come back to what my thought was for today, whatever you don't do anything about, you choose. And what I mean by that is that we choose by default, right? We think that sometimes if we don't like a situation and all we do is complain about it. But the thing is, instead of complaining, we easily can just change it, right? But it's so hard to go ahead and to move forward with that change and until you decide, which brings me to the word decision. And I know that I think the Latin meaning of decide is to cut. And to cut means you sever, meaning you either do or you don't. And once that decision is made, the decision should be final. And what I mean by that is I actually have an example that comes to mind. The example that I have is when I don't even remember. I was working in a hotel at the time, and I was part-time. So the thing is, to give a backstory, I wanted to climb the corporate ladder in the hotel industry. And then I became a mom, completely changed my trajectory of what I wanted to do. And then by the time my husband and I had our second child, which was our daughter, by that time I started to work part-time. And before working part-time, I was a supervisor in the reservations department at a hotel. And so basically the reservations department is just basically when you call, hello, welcome to whatever hotel, I would like to make a reservation. I'm sure they probably still have those departments. I think they do, unless it's all front desk now, because you pretty much can make any reservation you want online. But at that time, there wasn't any online options, so there was a reservation department. And so I climbed that ladder. I was reservation supervisor. And then after I had my daughter, I was like, I'm going to do part-time, just because it really just didn't even make sense. I'm sure a lot of young parents can relate that, childcare is so expensive that you're like, okay, so either I go back to work after having my kids, then I pay somebody to watch my kids, and everything, all the money that I'm making is actually to pay that person. Or what I can do is just stop working, and since the money's going to be out of my pocket anyway, I might as well just go ahead and save that money and take care of my own kids, because nobody's going to watch my babies like I do. And so we decided to go with that route. And so after being a stay-at-home mom for like a year or so, 2 years, I ended up just going back to work just for weekends, just to still make some kind of money. But the weekends were the only times that I did work. But the thing is, I was working weekends to do reservations, but coming from a supervisor position. And the reason why this is important is because when I was a supervisor, I did not have to wear a uniform. I just brought my own business clothes and my business attire, and that is what I wore. And I would get away with still doing that on weekends because nobody was there. The management wasn't there. So I just still wore my own business clothes when everybody else actually had to wear a uniform. And if you were in the hotel industry, or I'm sure any company that requires a uniform, they were like, well, you're no longer supervisor, so you need to wear a uniform yourself. But I had been doing that, getting away with that for like 2 years. So yeah, I'm not wearing a uniform. I wanted to get to work in my clothes, leave in my clothes, like whatever. And so I decided so that was just my routine, just going to, then after one day, at the time, I have to say, at the time, I was just kind of toying with the idea of, I don't know what I want to do. Do I really want to still be here? Because you know how it is in corporate world. Sometimes they can get under your skin. They make your blood boil and you just like want to quit right then and there. But at the same time, Manu and I, my husband and I at the time, we had started a like cute little DVDs to teach kids how to speak French. And the way that we did those DVDs was that we took our kids. So our son Caleb was 3 and Layla was like 8 months. So we didn't have Maya yet because she came later on. But what we did is we took our little camera and we went and we made these books. We handmade the books. We made the DVDs. I was responsible for like editing the videos, and like we would go and record in grocery stores and just teaching. Like almost the idea was we wanted to do a mixture of Sesame Street for kids to learn French. And at the time there was Wonder Pets. I don't know if anybody remembers Wonder Pets. My kids loved Wonder Pets. And so if you don't know what Wonder Pets are, so it's not on Nickelodeon anymore, although I think that they might be trying to revive it. But it was a hamster. It was hamster, a duckling, a baby turtle, and I think that was it. But anyway, and then they would say, and it was just like basically bits by bits. It was really pieced together. It looked like it was homemade, but it was so cute. And we took that idea and we were inspired by it. And the funny thing is that I really think that had we continued doing that, by now we would have made it so much better. We could have possibly even sold it. Like, I think that we were the beginning of, like before. So only parents will probably know of young kids, Gracie's Corner. Do you know about Gracie's Corner, what that is? Gracie's Corner is just basically nursery rhymes made with cartoons that they did on their own. And then, oh my goodness, hi, Rumi. And so, hi, baby. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, Rumi. Okay. Oh my God, Rumi, move. Okay. No, he's trying to eat the microphone. Okay. Okay. He's out of control. But anyway, we took Wonder Pets idea in Sesame Street, and we wanted to do those videos. And so we ended up actually having like a couple of clients who bought those books. They were so cute. They were so cute. I wish I could, I mean, I still have some, but I wish I could like kind of digitize some of those videos because they were really cute. But that was our side business. I'm kind of sidetracking right now. And so get back to the office, to the whole corporate world thing. Since I was toying with the idea of leaving, you know how it is when you're like kind of daydreaming of other things that you can do to make your life better. I was there at the one weekend, and then out of all weekends, the HR director, she comes in. I guess she was MOD. So she was, MOD is manager on duty. And so she comes in, and it was like almost as if she's like picking a fight with me. And I'm like, chick, like, leave me alone. And so she looks at what I'm wearing and she says, is that uniform? And I'm like, no, it's not uniform. And she says, well, you're not supervisor anymore, so you need to be wearing a uniform. You need to go get sized for a uniform, and next weekend you better have that uniform on. And I was like, oh, okay. When I tell you, she had enraged me so bad that day I could not even function. For the rest of the day, I was so angry at her. How dare she tell me what to do? She's like not even here ever. And I'm not bothering anybody because I'm the only person in the office. And right then and there, I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm giving myself 30 days. 30 days and I'm out of here. I am not wearing a uniform, and I am not going to be talked to the way that she talked to me. And so, yeah, after that, I went home. I don't even think I told my husband, actually, what my secret mission was. One thing was for sure. I was like, I'm done. I am done. That chick, she is on my list. Like, she had me so mad at her. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, what was going to work for me to be able to do this. But my decision was made was that I was going to quit in 30 days and that something had to give. And that's actually exactly what happened. So then after probably around day 29 or 31, I don't know, it's been years ago now, something happened. I can't even remember. But out of the blue, out of nowhere, my husband comes to me and he tells me, I think you should go all in on our product that we were trying to sell. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? He was like, you should quit your job and we can go all in and this is going to be what's going to make us money. This is going to be it. And right then and there, I got my green light to quit that job. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. I will absolutely do it. Anything that I need to do to get out of this job, I'm doing. And so, yeah, I quit the job with joy and never looked back. And then the business with our DVDs, what is he? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, Rumi. Oh, my goodness. Am I actually going to have to pause this video? So this is what happens when you have, oh my goodness. I actually might have to pause this video and check on him. Okay, he seems to be fine. He went and grabbed his rock again. Side note, golden retrievers are out of control. They are the happiest dogs ever. They will keep you laughing but in the sweetest, but my gosh. Are you okay? Are you okay? Come here. Come here, sweet boy. Okay. So he's fine. I think he's fine. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So, oh my goodness. He might be the reason why I need to start editing these videos. My goodness. But we ended up trying to catch my train of thought. Oh my goodness. I'm actually going to have to pause it. Welcome back to my show. I did indeed have to pause it. I had to take care of Rumi. Let me see if I can lower this to show him. Oh my goodness. Yes, Rumi. Yes, baby, I love you. Anyway, yep. So, okay. Oh my goodness. Yes. I apologize for this video. I'm actually going to have to edit this video. But yeah, to come back to what I was saying, I quit my job. I quit, and then I ended up making a little bit of money on those DVDs and everything, but it did not stick, and that's okay. The thing is that I do believe that actually that's where my passion for to be an entrepreneurship was born. And no regrets, because then eventually, after we had our third child, and then I became a photographer. And so, like I said, no regrets. But all of that to say, goodness, Rumi, you made me lose my train of thought. Yes, to decide. So I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to do anything that's rash, like any rash decision. I did it because I just was done. But in the end, ultimately, you have to weigh your pros and your cons, what is worth it and what is not. And to also just decide, because whatever you don't choose consciously, whatever you don't do consciously to change, you're actually choosing by default. So do you want to live in, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if it's not, it's time to start thinking of your plan B or your exit strategy. It's okay to do that too. But one thing you have to do is you have to take it with such a level of determination that something has to change. Something has to give. Like you're not doing this anymore. For me, it worked really well to give myself a timeline. Sometimes, but I think the timeline actually really only works if you're just that sure. And how do you know if you're that sure? I almost think that it's like a gut feeling. It's not something that when it happened to me, it wasn't something that I decided, that I planned, I should say. It wasn't anything that I planned. It was just, I was in that moment, I was just so done. Then after kind of thinking and then I didn't even waver, honestly. I was like, something's just gonna have to give. But yeah, I think that is what you have to do, and get to the point where it doesn't even matter. In that moment, it doesn't matter what you think is going to happen, if something bad is going to happen. All you know is that you can't continue business as usual. And that is so huge to be able to do that, to come to that realization. And what helped me try to get to those little steps again is you have to start allowing yourself. I don't know if you're big on meditation. I'm sorry, not meditation, if you're big on imagining. But the gateway to being able to see a future that you don't have yet is to be able to imagine. And so yeah, use your imagination. Be open to using your imagination and just seeing what can possibly happen. The thing is, and I had covered this in another video, is that what ends up happening is you might start doing something that you think is the way to go, but ultimately it's going to lead you to something else. It's going to lead you to something else. It's going to lead you to something else. And as I'm talking, I'm remembering that I skipped a step, what I was telling you, from between our DVDs that we were making and photography. What I ended up doing was, at the time, my kids were in preschool, and it was like a little neighborhood preschool. And what I did was, so it all started because my oldest, Caleb, he's such a mama's boy. My gosh, that baby, he was scotched, like glued to my hip. I couldn't do anything without him. And so when it was time to actually bring him to school, he wasn't happening. He was 2. He was 2 and 3 or whatever. And so I got to see, the people were so nice, and they would let me go into the classroom with him until it was time for like recess, and he felt more comfortable with them, and then I would just slip on out. But the magical thing about that was that I got to see kids on the inside. And I was like, this is something that I'm the only one that has this honor to be able to do. And so I asked the director, I was like, you know what, I have my camera. Would it be okay if I brought my camera in and took pictures of the kids, and then I sold them to the parents as slideshows? And she was like, yeah, sure. And so that was the beginning of what I thought was going to be my little DVD thing with teaching French to kids. It actually wasn't even that brought me money. I ended up going every day for like a week. I would go in each kid's class, take a picture of each child. I had like a whole document of what child that I took pictures of. You could tell the children that were super shy, that tended to not have a lot of pictures, and the ones that were more outgoing, I made sure to have a balance. And then at the end of the year, I would set up a desk in their lobby, and I had access to a TV. And then I would show the parents I made these pictures into a slideshow. And the parents loved these movies, because one parent told me that everybody loves their kids, but nobody has time to actually capture them at school. We can't see what they look like. We don't see what they do. And so the fact that I did that for them, they were like, this is amazing. And so I was like, look at that. A business came out of nowhere for me just because I decided to quit that job, that corporate job. And I thought I was going to do it through one way, but another way presented itself to me. And from there, that's where photography took off. So it's pretty cool just to kind of look at that. But yeah, to kind of go back to that. So just basically to say, all of this to say, if you have a vision, if you have anything, I think that everyone does kind of have a vision. You may not think that you are good at anything, but everyone is good at something. We were blessed with some kind of gift. So what is yours? And what do you think that you could possibly do for forever, that's something that you would actually enjoy doing? And so that would be the first place where you should start. And yeah, so just do that, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, just follow your dreams, decide. And I think I'm actually going to stop my video for today, because I guess this is what happens as you're doing daily videos. They can't be perfect. Now my dog that was coughing, I'm just digging a hole, another hole, as he always does. This is what he does. So all of this to say, I'm back on me. Thank you so much for watching, and tomorrow will be day 13. Hopefully it'll be a little less chaotic. Probably should leave him inside, but you know, he's like a baby and he's unpredictable. But you know what, I'm actually finding that I almost like, well, today was like a hot mess, right? But I'm really kind of enjoying this unpredictability about these videos that I'm doing, because I'm challenging myself to find what to say. I'm challenging myself to find topics and to stay on track. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So thank you so much. And I'm also starting to try to get used to saying, you know, if you like these videos, just give this video a like and subscribe so you can see all of the videos of my journey. And my daughter Maya told me to say, hit the bell. I don't even know what that is. Hit the bell, I guess, so you can be alerted that I have new videos or something. So nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13. Thank you. Bye-bye.